We've just started the recording. We'll open this Board of Health work session. It's 9 a.m. I understand that Dr. Melnick is not present today, and I'm seeing all counselors online or in person, so we have everyone on board and we're ready to proceed. So composting and food waste, I think, is the singular topic for presentation today. Go ahead and take the floor.
Councilor Chermevich, I'm actually here, but I may be pulled away. So, but I wanted to listen in and help answer questions. I've got Roxanne Wolf, our Deputy Director, who will start us off. And I've also got Sarah Kearns, who's our Program Manager for our Solid Waste Education and Outreach Program. So we'll be able to answer questions as well.
Okay, Dr. Melnick, thank you for that introduction. Until you started speaking, I didn't see you on the screen. You were very stealthy.
That's
so
me.
Go ahead, let's begin the presentation.
Good morning, counselors. I'm Roxanne Wolf. I'm the Deputy Director. I appreciate the opportunity to share with you today some information about food waste in our community. We're going to be giving you a briefing about our May 22nd Board of Health meeting presentation, and also providing you today with some high-level data about food waste in our community. So I know you all are aware of this, but managing the volume of food waste in our community is a huge problem, not only just for our community, but also across the nation. And we wanted to thank you again for your the Food Waste Prevention Week proclamation that you made early last month. So we definitely appreciate that, and that helps with our work and with getting the word out. So we greatly appreciate that. And as was highlighted in the proclamation, Washington generates, and I'm going to give you a little bit of data right now, Washington generates an estimated 1.1 million tons of food waste annually. And that includes 400,000 tons of edible food that's disposed in the landfill. So it's a huge, huge problem for us in Washington State and for our community. Again, the USDA, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, has estimated that food waste in the United States is somewhere between 30 and 40% of the entire food supply. And that's based on estimates, the USDA estimates of about 31% of food loss at the retail and consumer levels. So 31% of food loss is happening at the retail and consumer levels. I just wanted to highlight that. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, identified food as the single largest category of material placed in the municipal landfills, where it emits methane, which is a powerful greenhouse gas and a huge public health issue. So municipal solid waste landfills also, the USDA has cited this, that municipal solid waste landfills are the third largest source of human-related methane emissions in the United States. So it's a huge problem. We will be sharing some additional data with you at our longer Board of Health meeting. But one of our recent efforts to raise awareness about the amount of edible food going into the landfill was our Food Waste Prevention Week campaign, which kicked off last month. And while prevention of food waste is key, there's always going to be some amount of food waste that's going into our landfills. And so rather than send it to the landfills, we're trying to engage with the community through 4 of our green programs to help address the problem of food waste through different projects and outreach efforts that we're doing in the community. And our 4 programs include the Green Business Program, Green Neighbors Program, Green Schools Program, and also we have a composter recycler program, which is very, very popular in our community. So on May 22nd, at our longer Board of Health meeting, we're going to be including an overview of food waste, the food waste composting pilot project that some of our team members developed that provides outreach and education to the public about how to reduce, recycle, and compost and properly manage their solid waste. And we'll also be talking about how we've set up some community hubs for collecting food scraps to be composted. So these community hubs were established in partnership with faith-based organizations and large employers and other sites that offer food waste drop-off locations for residents that don't have or that have limited access to composting services. So those, for instance, that are living in apartments or condominiums or living outside the residential curbside organic service areas. And currently our pilot project is engaging with 8 churches, pardon me, and 2 community hubs for residents to drop off those food scraps. So we're making great progress. Just in the first quarter of this year, this program has kept over 7,800 pounds of food waste from entering the landfill just in the first quarter. So we're looking forward to sharing more details about that project, which we're very excited about, and also the many benefits about composting. So that's going to be sort of our highlight for the May 22nd meeting. So that's the briefing we have this morning. Do you all have any questions?
Let's see if we do have questions. I think Councilor Marshall has one right away.
Thank you for the presentation. I'm wondering about, just system-wide. I know with recycling, it's really make it as convenient as possible for individual households. And in King County, my mother would separate her organic waste and have a special place for that, and it just gets picked up with the rest of the her garbage. So is there anything like that in place or on the horizon?
I'd like to, is Sarah Kearns available?
Yes, good morning, Roxanne and counselors. I can address that question, possibly not with my video on. Apologies for that. It doesn't seem to be wanting to cooperate with me this morning. But at the commercial level, so for businesses, there is a service available through Waste Connections where all of their food waste is can be collected separately if they subscribe to that service for composting. And here in Clark County, we have multiple different systems in operation. So within City of Vancouver city limits, residents, single family households have access to add food to their curbside yard debris bin. They call it an organics program. And that program also exists within the City of Ridgefield.
Other questions or comments? Sue, you had something else?
I just wanted to say thanks for that information.
Please, go ahead.
The one thing I would say about this is I think that an education campaign would be helpful. And the reason I say that is I consider myself involved. I consider myself somebody who reads and learns. But it wasn't until I was at a neighborhood association meeting where waste management presented on recycling that I understood people don't understand the difference between composting and putting it into a landfill and what oxygen does. I never realized that methane is not produced when oxygen's present. And so I think somehow educating the public behind that would be helpful, because I think people don't see the difference. They're like, well, what's the difference between it going into the ground and it going to compost? They don't see the value of that. And I think that would be an important thing to help educate the public about.
100% agree. And that's what I know, that the efforts of these teams that we have are exactly that. And we are, our waste partners are very critical and also helping us to provide education. But you're 100% correct, Counselor. And I think that we're going to continue that with not only the work that we're doing. And again, the proclamation is very, very helpful, because that also helps kind of to get the word out. So that was really helpful. But we are going to continue to do that work with our teams, and then as well as with the hubs we're setting up as well. I mean, that's also an opportunity to educate people as well. So thank you for that.
Other questions? Okay, a couple of comments, and I'm going to go broad and far afield because these are all related issues, from recycling to composting animal waste of all manner, and how it impacts our watershed, clean water, I think we do need to do more and up our game. A few years ago, I had raised the idea with, primarily with composting manure. I don't know of any public or private site that openly collects and composts and resells, although other communities do that in the country. There was one rancher that helped me with that idea up in the north part of the county and basically did all the calculations, and it was phenomenal as to how many truckloads of manure there could be. It would be a really positive thing if the county was able to get involved in that, because there are public health outcomes ultimately if it's mishandled. You know, there are a lot of people that just leave, whether it's horse, cow manure, sheep, you name it, just leave it and spread it without composting. You know, our conservation district has a lot of information on how to do that in a better way. And as to Glenn's point, you know, your average neighborhood may not have an idea. And, you know, unless you contract for a leaf container, separate container to put some of the vegetation in, and then what are the rules for putting food waste into there? Probably there's just a lot of distinction there that the public has no idea about. So I think we just need to continue to concentrate on education, get people involved with the conservation district, whether it's just a residential home or a ranch. We need to do more. So this is a great topic, and I would still like to consider it for out in the public. How do we manage our manure in a better way? I know our conservation district has a lot of great ideas and offer a lot of assistance, especially to the small farmer and rancher. But in any way, any comment on any of those comments? Otherwise, I think we're exhausted questions.
Before the comment, I just want to make a brief comment. I think this illustrates how appreciative I am that we're actually having 2 meetings a month and this short meeting before the longer meeting, because I'm hopeful, based on the questions you're all raising in this discussion, we'll have a much more robust discussion and address some of these issues on May 22nd. So I appreciate this.
So any last comments or questions? Otherwise, I think that completes the work session. Okay, we will be adjourned then until our council time at 1. Enjoy the rest of the morning off. It's going to be a sunny day, I hope.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.